First and foremost, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashmi Awashad Bashmi Rakak Radash, double honor to the apostles of the great millstone, and as well as giving the salutations thereof towards the Akim, swording the truth. And shalom to the brothers and the sisters on the side as well. It's the brother Laban coming at you with another video. And in this video, I want to be going over a couple of things. First, going over what Billy Boy Gates is saying about how the crises which is going to be happening in Europe is a good thing. And we're going to read why he says this. So it reads, tooting his breakthrough energy ventures climate technology investment company, Gates told CNBC people did get a little optimistic about how quickly the transition could be done. Without the Russian natural gas being available in Europe, it's a setback, Gates continued. We need to find non-Russian hydrocarbon sources to substitute for those, so there's coal plants running and variety of things, because keeping people warm, keeping those economies in decent shapes is a priority, Gates asserted. He continued, and this is the point. Now, on the other hand, it's good for the long run because people won't want to be dependent on Russian natural gas, so they'll move to these new approaches more rapidly. And as you read on into the article, it talks about how what is possible is as he continues to say anyway. Matter of fact, I might as well read it. It says Gates published a state of energy transition Tuesday, declaring that it should be the responsibility of countries such as the United States, which have prospered from burning fossil fuels, to move to completely decarbonize all sectors of the economy. And all of this is under the guise of climate change. And we know that, I don't really know too much about climate change, but what I do know is the basis of it all. It's the fact that under the guise of climate change, they want to be able to mitigate movement from a severe level. As they've said, they want to bring carbon emissions down to net zero. So that means human activity, human mobility is going to be measured out of how much you can of a product you can buy in the store. Overall, how much can you consume? How much are you able to travel? All of these things are going to be taken into account. And the size of your house. If you live in, let's just say, a mansion, you're going to have to allow other people that don't have houses to live in those spaces, because you got to keep the carbon emission down. All right. All of those cars that people desire, your sports cars with these big ass engines in them, a lot of horsepower in them cars are going to be out. Yeah. So the whole idea of freedom of expression on all walks of life is going to be no longer. Your life is going to be totally controlled and measured based on your carbon credit score. So with this way of life, which is what it's really all about, but they use these different terms, they're just talking about changing the world, and they're using words that most people don't really understand what they're talking about, but you have to go behind what they're talking about. And in order for you to go behind what they're really talking about, because they're lying. So when you go behind the lie, what they're really saying is you want to create a world that prohibits human activity. Not prohibited in totality, but rather, let me use another word, control it. This is what they mean when they talk about the Great Reset. This is what they mean when they say the term New World Order, and as well as the term climate change. Simply put. All right. And what I want to do is I want to move towards another article here, and I'll get back to this article in a minute. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can read a little bit more on this, and then I'll get to that. So this goes as far as to read once again. Gates published a state of energy transition Tuesday, declaring that it should be the responsibility of countries such as the United States, which have prospered from burning fossil fuels, to move to a completely decarbonized all sectors of the economy, he writes. Many countries in Europe and North America filled the atmosphere with carbon to achieve prosperity. And it is both unrealistic and unfair to expect everyone else to forgo a more comfortable life because that carbon turns out to change the climate. And that's why they've been saying for the longest time, the reason why the earth is getting hotter, because it's all due to human activity. So now, under this lie of changing of the climate, we have to cut down severely on the activity of the citizens all around the world, and by doing that, we gotta let people know what they can and cannot do, and give them a carbon digital credit score, and within all of this, they have to, by this particular time, come up with an implantable device to where they can be interconnected with these same people, because these are these people that are going to be in control of this technological world, which they will be the technocrats running all of this. All right. Enabling the people to do whatever it is that people want to do. And people will be judged based on their carbon credit scores. It's just like how they have a system already in the runnings in China. I said that like Donald Trump. I didn't mean to say that. But yeah, so this is what they're setting up, man. That's the kind of world that they want us to be under. They want us to be under a world where our travel, any form of human activity is measured, and they have control of that. Because ultimately what he wants the souls of men. Let me read that in the book of Psalms 54 and verse 3. For strangers are risen up against me, and the oppressors seek after my soul, and they have not set God before them, Salah, because their God is Satan. All of this aversion to life, it's all to do because these people are under the influence of the spiritual demon Satan. All right, this is why they've been passing all kind of unrighteous decrees and just doing everything which is against human nature and nature in general, because they're all Satanists, man. Yeah, that's what it is. Psalm 64 verse 4. They may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly they shoot at him and fear not. Yeah, because they don't fear the Most High, they fear Satan. They encourage themselves in an evil matter, and they commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities, and they accomplish a diligent search. They've always got these councils set up. Both their inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep. And their heart is deep to what? Eventually formulate a world where they can govern the world with the completeness of Shaitan. And as well as that, stealing the kingdom from Jacob, getting the birthright back. That's what all of this is all about. This is why they want to create a world order where everyone's under their full governance and control. And let's not forget, the main people who they want the souls of is our people, the children of Israel. If they can get the souls of the sons of God, then they got the world in their hands completely. And this is what their goal is. Under the guise of the Great Reset, the NWO, climate change. Because the devil is never satisfied. And to be brutally honest as well, the reason why they're doing all of this stuff and they doing too much, because they know that the saints are going to take over the world. And they know that, and because of that, we're a thorn in their flesh. So let's grab as much resources as possible, and as well as grab up as much souls of men as possible, so that eventually God can forsake. If the sons of God can take our advice through hunger, because we're gonna put these people through a time of temptation. So through that, if they take our advice and they take that implantable device, the sons of God, which is what they're looking for, then it's looking like that we got the world forever and ever. And that means God would have to forsake his people, because they're all accepting this implantable device that we're giving up. And this implantable device is going to be the device that connect these people onto us. And that's them saying that the children of Israel are no longer the people of God, but they're our people, and we can do whatever the hell we want. Yeah, this is it right here. Ezekiel 35, verse 10. Because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas the Lord was there. So this is what they believe that they have. Let me read this again. Because thou hast said, these two nations. What are these two nations, the two countries referring to? The southern kingdom and the northern kingdom. All of the 12 tribes of Israel. This is their thinking. These two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas the Lord was there. And therefore, they believe they will possess the land of Israel eventually, after all of the dust is settled. All right. But verse 11 tells you, therefore, as I live, save the Lord power. And the Lord's living right now, and he's going to live while these devils are going to be up to no good, destroying themselves. I will even do according to thine anger and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them. Hatred against who? Us. And I will make thyself known among them when I have judged thee. So it's going to be known amongst us that the Lord has judged the Edomites. And when the Messiah makes his second return, that's going to be an example of that right there and there. When you read the book of, I believe it's Isaiah 63, where Isaiah elaborates on the vision of the coming of the Messiah against Basra. That's going to be an example of the Lord showing his anger and judging the nation of Edom. And we're going to see that. Okay. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord, and that I have heard all thy blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountain of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate, and they are given to us to consume. And that's what they see. They see that we've been consumed by their power, and they can no longer reach back to excellence anymore. So all we got to do is starve these niggas out and coerce these people, just like this dude in IUIC said, oh, well, maybe they can force the chip down your throat. No, they're not going to force anything down your throat. They're going to put you in a state of temptation, and there you will want to take the mark. All right. So they're going to put you in a particular situation where you're going to be tempted to take the mark. So once they have the majority of our people, because it is written 2/3 of our people will cut off and die. What is it? Zechariah 13 and 9 and 10. 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall go throughout. I'm roughly paraphrasing the 10th verse. But the third part shall be tried through the fire. So going back to what I was saying before, when these devils see the majority of our people lining up to take this mark, that's when they're going to be fully convinced. Oh shit. God definitely ain't coming back. He can't come back, because look at the majority of Israel taking our mark. And now we're going to be able to formulate a world where we can have full governance over them. Going back to this idea of everything's ours, and as well as these people that are calling themselves the children of Israel. They're also ours to consume. As verse 10 and 12 lets it be known, they're thinking. Okay. So that's what they want to reach to. But according to the book of Job, the 5th chapter, Job 5 and verse 12, he disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hand cannot perform their enterprise. What is their true, genuine enterprise? To formulate a new world system where everyone is under full control of their hands. And your whole entire life, every little bit of you, from a major part of you to a minor part of you, will be on the data, will be measured. And including us as the people. They want us in hardcore slavery once again in this technological world they're creating. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong, because their counsel is against the Heavenly Father. But the reality of it all of the world that we live in. And I don't just use that term loosely. The reality of the matter is that there is no wisdom, no understanding, and no counsel against the Lord. So there you go. There's no counsel against the Lord. So they're trying to create a world that is corrupt against the ways and the understandings of the Heavenly Father. And so that's going to fail because there's no counsel against the Lord. Okay? And this is why I always say, man, that Satan, their God, is only going to allow them to go so far with their agenda. And then Satan is going to leave the building and he's going to return back to his father, because at the end of the day, Satan is nothing more than a double agent. He's opposed opposition, he's posed opposition against God, but he's really not. Just like how you have men that can set up other men to pose as oppositions, but they're not opposition. They're just doing the bidding of who set them up to be posed opposition. Like, for example, right now you got this nigga by the name of Kanye West talking this Israelite talking. He don't even know what the hell he's talking about. Right? Because they're going to be using him for something. If they allow this nigga to continue to talk his nonsense, then maybe through him they could possibly go for the persecution. I don't know, but they're using him from something. As well as you know, the devil always got something up their sleeves. So this is the thing. And I mean, that's why I haven't really did a video about Kanye, because what I don't want to do is, and what we shouldn't do as brothers is give Kanye West attention, because that's what they want us to do. They want us to give him the attention that they want us to give him, so that eventually they can say, yeah, see, they support him. We don't support him. But if we do give him attention, we're going to speak about what he's really up to and doing. Because we know that these celebrities, they're what they are. They're puppets. And whether they knew what they were selling out for or not, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, if you sell your soul to be a celebrity, all you're going to be is a puppet. Because that's really what you are. You're a puppet to those who you sold out to. So if your puppeteers tell you to go right, you better go right. If they tell you to go left, you better go left. And that's what Kanye West is doing. They trying to make Kanye West to look like fucking Muhammad Ali. He's for the people kind of spirit. And he's supporting the whole Israelite thing. When in all reality, he's posed opposition. He's a puppet. Like I said, and there's puppeteers that's controlling his ass. Just like J. Edgar Hoover gave a quote, and the quote was, this is going somewhere else. I don't mean to change the topic, but hey, that's how the spirit goes sometimes, man. J. Edgar Hoover, John Edgar Hoover, slogan. Let me be a little bit more specific here. Here we have it right here. There will never be another black Messiah unless we create him. And John Edgar Hoover was, I believe he was an FBI administrator, something to that equivalent. See something real quick. Yeah, he was an American law enforcement administrator who served as the first director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, exactly, the FBI. So he was the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Yeah, so he was topping his day in when it concerns government law enforcement officers and all of that, which a lot of the times the police, they were always involved in setting up different men to be exalted and to be spokesmen for the people, so-called black people to be exact, right around the 60s and the 70s. There you have it right here. You got Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, right? So all of these people, they were all agents. They were all set up. Huey P. Newton, which he was the head of the Black Panther Party. All of these guys are nothing more than agents, man. All right, that was set up by people like this guy over here. There will never be another black Messiah unless we create him. So again, and the thing with Kanye West, I don't mean to switch the topic again. I went way left with this this video. But the thing with Kanye West, like I said before, Kanye West sold out to be the celebrity, to be an entertainer, to be a puppet. And that's all he is. He's nothing more than a puppet. This nigga went from messing with the Kardashians to now he goes by his name is Yah, which goes back to the word Yah, which means God. So he's trying to say that he's the new Messiah now, because them Christians, they believe that Jesus is God. So he's the new God on the planet, and he's the Messiah that we all should be looking up to, and think about following him, what he has to say. But in all reality, he's nothing more than a puppet, which is going to be used if they allow him to continue to keep talking, to bring us to what? Terrorism. Because the goal is to stop the Israelites from talking. The thing of it is, man, Esau does not want us to reach to any kind of form of excellency whatsoever. As it is written, that the accuser of their brethren will be cast down. So who's the accuser of us? These devils, these small hatters. They're the accuser of our brethren. So they want to see us at the bottom, low and be under. Okay? They want to see us consistently in consummation. So Kanye West, he may have said a couple of things on his on his Twitter that was correct on the whole anti-Semitism thing. But overall, we know what he's there to do. Hiding like we know that Kanye West is not acting on his own merit. We know that. We know that he's basically being told to move the way that he's moving, to say the things that he's saying. They've given him his handlers, because every celebrity that's popular as well as he's popular, they all have handlers, and their handlers allow them to say certain things for a particular kind of a reasoning, because there's an agenda behind why they're allowing him to say what he's saying and moving how he's moving. So that's all I have to say with this. I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashmi Awashai Bashmi Rakah Kwadash. With that, I'm out. Closing. Shalom.